Hello, my name is Gwendolyn Green. I am a student at Liberty University, the Christian college that have been training champions for Christ since 1971. This is my interpersonal communication project for hsco 508, the course that is designed to raise students' communication level from impersonal to interpersonal. Next slide. In this presentation, I will provide a brief introduction, define communication, identify my overarching goal, and give a definition for the term enlarging the conversation. I will share how my background and behavior blend influence my communication both positively and negatively. I will identify potential barriers to effective communication and strategies to deal with these barriers. I will identify internal and external noise pollution and solutions to eliminate noise pollution. I will provide an action plan designed to help me reach my overarching goal and enlarge my conversation. This presentation will conclude with my resources and references. Next slide. Personally, who am I? Personally, I'm a 53-year-old mother of two beautiful daughters, stepmother, and foster mother. I have been dubbed a mother to others by those who know me. I am currently pursuing my master's degree in counseling and life coaching, and I am a licensed minister of the gospel. Professionally, I'm a successful entrepreneur of over 25 years, a published author of the book The Mandate Fulfilled, Bringing God's People Out of Debt, the talk show host of the show The Source of Wealth, aspiring life coach, speaker, and full-time author. Next slide. What is communication? More precisely, what is interpersonal communication? Communication is the continuous, complex, collaborative process of verbal and nonverbal figuring out, meaning making, making sense of, interpreting what's happening, according to Stewart. Interpersonal communication is the kind of communication that happens when people involved talk and listen in ways that maximize the presence of the personal. We should strive to communicate on an interpersonal level because the quality of our communication is directly linked to the quality of our lives, according to Stewart. Next slide. Overarching goal. My overarching goal is to become an effective interpersonal communicator and life coach, to become a better communicator and a mindful listener who listen to others in a way that encourages them to speak freely and openly, a communicator who has the ability to provide proper self-disclosure and speak in a way that clearly communicates my message openly and honestly. Reaching this goal is important because the mark of an effective life coach is listening to clients and asking the questions that lead them to self-discovery. Next slide. Enlarging the conversation means to identify communication issues and seek out resources. Conversation is the most influential communication event, and it is the fundamental site of language use, according to Stewart. Conversation is the key to moving communication from impersonal to interpersonal. Next slide. Understanding our backgrounds and behavior blends can provide insight into how our communication is affected positively and negatively. Based on the Effective Communication Self-Evaluation by Burley Allen, my listening style is the interrupter. Over the years, my identities of teacher, parent, mother, minister, speaker has resulted in my adapting my communication to a monologue manner, where I am focused on getting my own message and ideas out, not in a dialogue that makes me available to perceive and listen to others. Having monologues or one-sided conversations cause me to develop the habit of interrupting others if they don't get to the point right away. I believe I can apply the information through this course and break the habit because, according to Burley Allen, being aware of habits can help people to stop them. Next slide. Behavior blend. The first assignment students were required to complete for this course was the Behavior Blend Assessment by Uniquely You, in order to identify our specific blend and understand how it impacts the way we think, feel, make decisions, and relate to others. The DISC model of human behavior consists of 4 temperament types or quadrants that identify each individual's personality or unique yet consistent pattern of thoughts, feelings, and behavior, according to Carbonell. Next slide. The quadrants are D, active task-oriented, I, active people-oriented, S, passive people-oriented, and C, passive task-oriented. However, most people are a combination or blend of the characteristics of these 4 personality types. There are 21 behavioral blends or combinations, according to Carbonell. Next slide. The behavioral assessment generate 2 graphs. Graph 1 is the expectations expected of me. It is our response to how we think people expect us to behave. It is our normal, guarded, and masked behavior. Graph 2, this is me, is our response to how we feel and think under pressure, how we really feel and think inside. It's our normal, unguarded, and unmasked behavior. Next slide. My behavior blend identify me as a CIS, Competent Influencing Specialist. The positive aspects of the CIS are they like to do things right. They like to impress others and stabilize situations. They are not aggressive or pushy. They are good with people and prefer quality. They are sensitive to what others think about them and their work. They have strong people skills. They like to influence and interact with people, and people tend to like our friendliness, enthusiasm, and cordiality. Next slide. Negative aspects of CIS personality, they need to be more decisive and direct. Their critical and fault-finding attitudes can rub people the wrong way. They need to be more determined and dominant. They are poor at quick decision making, need to be more motivated and assertive, and they must guard against being judgmental. Next slide. Potential barriers to communication. Listening barriers occur when someone hears what they want to hear, not what is really communicated. Barriers can be past experiences, biases, emotions, fatigue, habits, beliefs, and values, and even words, according to Burley Allen. Next slide. Solutions to barriers. Eliminating barriers require us to become mindful listeners who receive the spoken word accurately, interpret the message unbiasedly, retain information, sustain attention, and be sensitive to how accurate our messages are. These are attributes of a good listener as well as a mindful listener, according to Stewart. Next slide. Internal and external noise pollution. Internal noise pollution are the thoughts, ideas, attitudes, filters, and beliefs that affect our emotions, hearts, and minds, according to Burley Allen. Peterson gives a great example of internal noise pollution in his flat brain communication theory, which occurs when inflated emotions cause us to close our hearts, which in turn distort our thinking, our hearing becomes skewed, perception become inaccurate, and the mouth works overtime, according to Peterson. External noise pollution are physical and environmental distractions. They can be nonverbal behavior, such as facial expressions. The speaker is too loud or too quiet, even the speaker's tone and appearance. Environments that are too loud, uncomfortable, distracting, and unfamiliar. Next slide. Solutions. Internal and external noise pollution can be corrected by first knowing they exist and then taking the necessary steps to eliminate physical and environmental distractions and internal biases, prejudice, stress, negative self-talk, emotions, and thoughts. Next slide. My action plan. My relational style is a logical mind communicator, and I can often come across as judgmental. By including all 3 aspects, heart, emotion, and mind, in my communication, I will not allow internal and external conditions to cause my emotions to harden my heart and distort my thinking. My listening style is interrupter. Therefore, I will apply the talker-listener cards by Peterson, which requires listeners and talkers to take turns. I am also a rescuer. Therefore, I will apply the hem and haw listening technique, which stops the listener when he or she feels the urge to answer, solve, give advice, and defend. Next slide. This action plan will help me become an effective life coach and develop interpersonal communication skills that allows me to build rapport by actively listening. Dunbar. Because listening forms the cornerstone of coaching, and coaches must be able to listen to, listen for, and listen with clients, according to Williams and Mendez. Next slide. This slide contains resources I have used to enlarge my communication. Next slide. This presentation concludes with a list of my references. Thank you.